Good morning, runners. Happy Tuesday, June 2nd. And this morning I went out for my usual Tuesday speed workout, not far from the house. Since the high schools and tracks, at least here nearby, are closed, we have been improvising for a good 6 weeks, I want to say, of going down to a local park that has a pretty nice paved area that you can run basically up to about 1200, which I haven't done yet. I've done an 800 meter on there, but it can go pretty much 1200 meters. We here in Phoenix, Arizona, are under a curfew that started yesterday and is going for an entire week until next Monday. Of course, as many of you know, the George Floyd protests that erupted violently, not just here in Arizona, but across the U.S. So our Governor Ducey, with all the looting and violent protest out there, businesses being broken into and looting, mandated a curfew that starts 8 p.m. Until 5 a.m. So that has definitely impacted some people. For us, we do get out early. It's close to that time. It hasn't really affected us. Maybe just 10 minutes, 15, depends how early we try to get out. The weather is pretty warm in the mornings, but definitely understand why that curfew was put into effect. And it is a tragic incident that's taken place, not just in the George Floyd incident, but many others prior to. And I understand why a lot of people are protesting. They definitely have their right to do that, but at the same time, to be able to do it peacefully, there's other groups out there that have a different agenda, and it's just a small percentage of those that are, destroying businesses throughout the U.S. It's definitely not the way to do it, in my opinion. But there's definitely ways to go about making their voices heard. So, not an easy situation. I know a lot of runners across the country are voicing their outrage at what happened and has been happening within the Black community, and just police brutality, overuse of force and all. But anyways, not getting into the politics here, but just kind of let you know what's going on here, and how we're kind of coping with it. So as far as the speed work, woke up this morning and it felt warm, and it was warm. Today's the 2nd of June, and I believe the temperature right as I started my warm-up was around 84 degrees. Might have dropped down to 83 at sunrise, which is the coolest part of the morning, right when the sun comes up, although sometimes it's hard to tell. But it was warm, definitely. The crazy thing is, this is not the most uncomfortable we're going to feel in the summer. That typically happens right around 4th of July, just early part of July. After like the first week or two, it starts to really get muggy. So I don't know what we're in for here this year, because we had kind of an unusually warm, end of May, April, and then May has been pretty warm. So I'd rather have the hot temperatures come quickly and leave quickly. Let's just get it over with. But I did my run, and I felt good about it. The speed workout today was 4 by 400 meters and 2 by 200 meters. The recovery in between the 400s was a minute and a half, so 90 seconds, and the 200-meter recovery was 1 minute or 60 seconds. And the pace that I was supposed to run these at, the target, was a little bit slower than I have done in the past. And as it gets hotter, my times are probably going to drop a little bit or get slower. You got to run on effort when the temperatures, in the 80s and upper 80s and even 90s in the mornings when it gets that bad. You have to make the changes and adapt to your environment. So the target, as I'm looking here, I was trying to keep the 400 meters at about 150 or 151, which would be around like a 720 to 726 pace. So I knew that was definitely something I could do. It's just a matter of me running a little slower than what I'm used to doing when I do some of the 400s. I went out, the first one was 139, so a lot faster than I should have been. But then I dialed it back a bit and did a 145 and then a 142, 142. So a little bit better. And it did feel easier, especially the first, 200 meters. When I got to 300 meters, then I was starting to get a little bit tired. But overall, for me, I would put it at a RPE, or a rate of perceived exertion, at a 7. Typically, I'm putting it at like an 8 or 8.5. But I just need to get out a little bit slower and not, get out of the gate as quick as I did. So my average there for the 400s was 142, which is equivalent to a 650 mile, just to put things into perspective. So I was supposed to average 150 to 151. I ended up doing 142. 9 seconds or 8 seconds is quite a bit. That's about 4 seconds at the 200. So I guess next time I can go a little bit slower. Better than having to run faster, right? Then I finished up with two 200s. And this one I had no target. I didn't put any target in place. It was just meant for me to kind of get that extra leg turnover. Definitely I should run faster pace-wise than the 400s because it's cut down in half. So I felt confident I was going to be able to do that, and I did. Ran it pretty consistent. I ran a 40-second and a 41. Those are equivalent to a 5:29 and 5:31 mile. No way I can keep that up, but just showing the equivalent to what my mile would be. So I felt good. Could I have run those 200s faster? Probably I would have I would say I could have done, 38s, 37 possibly, but it was good. I mean, I felt good, a little bit tired at the end, a little more so than on the 400s, but it felt good. So basically, I'm in my second week of 5K training, and I told myself, in the summers, for the last couple years, I've not been really training for like long distance. For me, a long distance is half marathons these days, but rather focusing on like the shorter stuff, 5Ks typically. That's about all I do as far as distance in the summertime, are 5Ks. Surprisingly, we do have quite a few out here in Phoenix with the current COVID-19 situation. The running landscape looks a little different. We usually have 2 running groups that have their kind of summer series. Well, one of them has canceled all their summer series, whereas the other one has postponed the first couple races. But as of now, the race that's set for June 13th, less than 2 weeks, with Startline Racing, it looks like, according to their website, that 5K will go on. So that'll be kind of interesting to see. It would be fun to kind of go there, from afar, kind of watch the race and see how it turns out. Maybe I might do that just to, kind of see, what it looks like. Obviously staying, a good social distance away and more, but just to see the running community back at it. So, 5K training, like I mentioned, I'm focusing on doing a 5K with Startline Racing at the end of July. Everything is kind of tentative, but I'm kind of leaning towards that. So I wanted to give myself like 2 months basically to prep and to just kind of get some good speed workout in when I do my speed workouts. So a few weeks ago, I went online with our library, and libraries are closed, but you can still check out books online, and then you actually drive to the library and you park in designated spots, parking spaces, and you call a phone number that's posted on the light pole, and they bring out the books to you. So kind of cool, especially when it's hot outside. So it's really nice to have that option here since the libraries are closed. So the Phoenix Library has done a great job in coordinating efforts throughout the city with its employees, and they did a great job in directing traffic, and everything is basically designated for an entry and exit when you come in. So I got a book, and I'm gonna start reading it today and see if I can look at some additional training plans, just to kind of see from what I've done and currently doing to what this book says. Now this book is, I want to say it's a few years old. It is copyright date, I want to say it's 2015. So, where is it? Yeah, 2015. It's a book by Hal Higdon. You guys may have heard of Hal Higdon. He is definitely been around for years. He's a contributing editor for Runner's World. Basically, a runner, very good runner in the past. And there's a program here. It says speed programs for all distances for 5K, 8K, 10K, and 15K. So that's right within my wheelhouse. Definitely want to give it a good read and see if I can incorporate some good speed training into this summer, and get some 5Ks if they're going to happen. And even one of our friends and local coaches, Flash, puts on an 8K in the summer. I don't know if he has any tentatively scheduled, but I've got to check that out to see if he is. So I'm looking forward to reading the book. It looks familiar. I've probably scanned this book years before, but I definitely like to see what I can do to work on speed and improve in that particular area on the short stuff. Well, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope your running is going well, that you're able to get out or run on the treadmill when you can. And looks like the running community is opening up slowly but surely. I heard a race, I believe, in Valparaiso, Indiana, had I think it was a 5K. I heard that on Kofuzi's YouTube channel yesterday. So interesting. We are all itching to get back out there, but let's definitely do it safely. And if you like to leave comments, please do so down below. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. Just hit the subscribe button, and would love to have you check out some new content. This is just something I do for fun. You know, love to hear from you if you've got any suggestions, and let me know how your running is going, and maybe you're training for something down the road with everything kind of up in the air. You know, we just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a good rest of your day and week. Take care.